I don't know, Fingers, if I can go for a $17 Robusto. I let the cat out of the bag. The price before the cigar. We're changing everything up. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy, and this right here from EP Carrillo is the Encore Black. Many of you may have done the Encore. Part of that Ernesto Carrillo line, the EP Carrillo line. It's a Nicaraguan throughout. This is not that cigar. The EP Carrillo Encore Black is a Connecticut broadleaf that's in the wrapper, San Andreas in the binder, and the filler is a host of things and tobaccos from Esteli and from Jalapa, those areas in Nicaragua. This is 5 3/8 by 52, which means it's 5 3/8 inches long. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. And the ring gauge is a 52. That's the diameter of the cigar or how thick it is around. But it's not just a 52. It's a 52 box press.
Nice.
That's
nice.
We are suckers. Would you say, Fingers Malloy, we're suckers for the box press?
Yes, especially on the golf course, but I don't know if I want to spend $17 on a golf course Robusto.
This is where it gets fascinating because we talk a lot about price. And, of course, Fingers Malloy is always having a conversation about value. A $17 Robusto in my hands is rare stuff. Admittedly, the Robusto size is rare stuff, although this is a little bigger than a Robusto, 5 3/8. Robusto really be in that 5-inch range, so it's a little bit bigger than that, almost a 5.5. It's just not my size of smoke. I like something a little bit longer. I'm more a Churchill guy and than anything else. Even Lanceros have that length to it. It's just where I'm more comfortable. But trying new things and feeling your way through matters. You and I tried, I believe it was the Pledge cigar from them. We were in Vegas at the show, at the PCA show, and that cigar didn't work for me at all, Fingers. Well, you enjoyed it. We were sitting there. I was going to tell Fingers. He's like, wait, where were we? We were waiting to go in to Hugo's cellar, and we were in front of a video poker machine. See, I had to do the Hugo cellar because I just said in front of a video poker machine. You'd be like, wait a second. That was the whole trip.
We were at Binion's.
Was that where we were?
Yes.
Thank goodness, because I had no idea where we were at the time. It didn't work for me at all. You seem to like it. Then I've had the Allegiance. I liked that tremendously. But this... Fingers, look at that thing. That is an absolutely beautiful wrapper.
Now, this just may be a one-off, okay? But I will say this was possibly the easiest cigar to light I have ever experienced in my entire life. I toasted the foot, and then I went to light the cigar, and it was already lit.
Huh.
And I toasted the same way I always toast the foot.
With love.
Yes.
Off the first, right? We've just started this cigar. You can actually hear us lighting it. You cut from the cap end. You toast the foot. That's the side that you light. And then a couple of puffs as you have your flame on there. What are you getting right now? Where are you at?
There's a creaminess, sweetness, some wood. That's where I'm at. And maybe a slight hint of pepper, but we just lit this.
Yeah, we did. So... First of all, it does actually feel good on the tongue. It actually paints the tongue. It's like a coating that goes on there. It is a little bit of spice there. It's kind of nice. There's a nice little feel to it, but it's got a lusciousness. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I'm trying to determine what that is. You get a little bit of that Mexican San Andreas sweetness. The Connecticut broadleaf, it really brings you into a bigger kind of place, although people like, I was taking a look at some of the places online, they consider this a more medium smoke. I would argue this is a more full-bodied kind of smoke, medium full, if anything.
A little bit of floral, too, maybe. And I can't get over just how much pleasant smoke is coming off of the stick and how easy the draw is.
I'm trying to identify. You said floral. Floral's nice. There's a no. See, that is a nuttiness. I almost want to say that's walnut. Like, I'm not usually great at being able to determine that kind of flavor. Sometimes I can tell it's almonds, right? Sometimes I can get into that concept. Mostly I get into nuttiness. That is really playing peacefully. Much different flavor profile than I thought I was going to get. I thought I was going to get something more big tobacco forward. This is a little lovely muted in that regard.
This is so smooth, and like I said, the draw is so easy, and the amount of smoke that's coming off this, I had to set this down because I feel like I am going to smoke this way too fast.
That is, I'm going to identify that flavor. If it kills me, understand that each leaf, as is described, all of this has been aged for at least 3 years and hand fermented for 18 months. There is some real work that went into this cigar, the EP Carrillo Encore Black here. And as I said, I started with $17 a stick, 17. And this is a question of flavor versus size. The age-old question in cigars, Fingers Malloy, does size matter?
Well, I have been told, Tony,
right,
by experts,
is that right?
That size doesn't necessarily matter.
I've been told the same thing, and sometimes I think they're lying. But there are cases where I think it is indeed true. It is truly about the construction and the taste. That's clearly obvious. I don't know if this show is still on radio at this point in time. I have no idea. You want to get your notebooks out. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? What's the weather? The humidity is finally broken in Indianapolis, Indiana, where we broadcast from, and thrilled about that. And then in your notebook, you break the cigar up into thirds. First third, second third, final third, right? What are the flavors you're getting from each third? Then when you try that cigar 3 months from now, 6 months from now, you do it again. You're able to compare your notes and really get your through line, what you thought of the cigar. And this is one of those cigars where the experience is whatever you think the flavor is, write it down. What does it connect to? What does it remind you of? What is the experience about? Write it down, because you may find out through going over those notes what flavor that is. Right now, it's not hitting me. It's not jumping off at me.
I am about to enter the second third of the cigar in 7 minutes if I keep this up.
Calm down.
So far, it's a wonderful smoking experience. I don't want to pull out my jump to conclusions mat out right now, but it's really good.
You have a jump to conclusions, Matt?
Don't we all?
No, I did not know that was available at Amazon. Or did you get it at Kmart?
I got it at the office. There was a space there for it.
Is that an office reference, or you're just saying
an
the
office space? His jump to conclusions, Matt.
Oh man, I really did.
In your Gen X card.
Yeah, that's. I apologize. I missed it. And I feel terrible. The EP Carrillo Encore Black. This is nice. I don't know if it's $17 yet. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it's $17. That's a flavor right there. I got to identify that. Buca di Beppo goes bankrupt. I only say that to start with because now Fingers Malloy owes me $5 for saying Buca di Beppo goes bankrupt.
Flawlessly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
True broadcast professional.
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Buca di Beppo went belly up. The craziest part of this story is they claim they have assets between $0 and $50,000. That was part of the bankruptcy filing. I don't even know how that's possible. But they didn't close all the stores. They did close one here in Indianapolis, right on the outskirts. The one downtown is still open. They got limited customer demand, as they call it, during the pandemic, and they never recovered. The restaurant revenue for the first 5 months of 2024 fell 10% to $74.8 million compared with a year earlier. They've got more than $10 million of debt. $1.36 million of that is for gift cards that customers have not yet redeemed.
How happy are you right now if you have a Buca di Beppo gift card? People Buca di Beppo.
Right, exactly. Not good. I once got stuck with $600 worth of gift cards to Fleming's Steakhouse, and they left Indianapolis.
Ugh.
$600.
Same thing happened to me and Ron.
So this is bad, but I don't believe we can necessarily attribute this to the economic issues. And as you guys know, the market has been completely insane this week. It was down 1,100 at the beginning of the week. Then it was back up. Then it was back down. Dogs and cats living together. People still discussing Jamie Dimon, right? The head of JP Morgan still sees recession on the horizon. I'm one of those people. I don't know what they're going to do with rates. I'll leave that all be. But there are some things that have to do with changes in the marketplace. And we've seen this certainly with quick serve, that the fast food got so expensive, they started going to Texas Roadhouse and Longhorn and saying, if I'm going to spend $60, $65 at fast food for a family of four, I might as well go sit and have a steak and get a refill.
Don't you feel, too, that Buca di Beppo...
you are delightful.
I call it BDP, even though it's BDB.
Right.
I like to call it BDP. Buca, don't you feel that they're a restaurant that it's a step up from Olive Garden, right?
Right.
Wouldn't you think? But it's not the fanciest restaurant. I wonder if that segment between a real night out, putting a suit on, getting yourself a steak at a nice steakhouse, and the gap between that and an Olive Garden, the restaurants in between are the ones that are being hurt.
I think you're right. I think that's part of the changes in patterns. Certainly, you do have an economic squeeze. No doubt about it. Certainly, people are being much more questioning of where they're spending their expendable income. It's just that kind of place doesn't fly, because once you're getting past that Olive Garden thought process, right? In that world of higher than that is Buca di Beppo and Macaroni Grill, right? Mm-hmm. That's in terms of franchises. It's those two things on Italian. Maybe you'd go just to the local place. And then there comes a moment, exactly how much money am I spending for freaking pasta?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
We so rarely go out for Italian.
Well, we
so
went
rarely.
We went to Las Vegas, and we went to that Italian restaurant by the celebrity chef there.
Giada. I
had a wonderful entree. It was lemon spaghetti, I believe it was what it was called.
It was brilliant.
It was
amongst the finest things I've ever tried.
But you're looking at, like you said, $40 for a pasta dish.
Now wait, that's Vegas. I don't know if you can make the same comparative there, but in concept, a lot of money for pasta drives me crazy.
Yeah, I think I had 2 prawns on the top of it and sauce and pasta for $40. Wonderful. It's a meal that I'm going to talk about for a long, long time.
Worth it then. Worth giving Giada all your money.
You had it. It was delicious.
Yes, absolutely stunning.
I don't think I've carried on that same fond memories of a Buca di Beppo entree.
I think that's a very solid point, and it's just to the larger point that some things happen because the marketplace just shifts. Would this have been the case if COVID had never come? And the answer is, I would argue, still possible. It's still possible that Red Lobster would have gone out, COVID or no COVID. It's still possible Tijuana Flats, the Mexican quick serve, would have gone out, COVID or no COVID or anything else. Sometimes you're over leveraged, you open up too many, too quick, they underperform, and that's the end of the ball game. So I think that this is more of a story of timing more than it is the economy. The economy issues are very, very real. And then there was this, and I think we may have to carry on this story because I've read this article from the Takeout Fingers. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're right. The story is steak myths. MYTHS.
Steaks are real.
No, myths you thought were true about steak.
Oh, okay.
And here is one of them. You have to let a steak come to room temperature before cooking it. They say it is a myth. Kitchen tests prove that leaving a steak on the counter while the grill heats up doesn't do much of anything. The internal temperature of the beef only rises by a few degrees, even if you rest it for an hour or two before cooking. Now, I'm going to say this very, very clearly. I hate these people. I have, of course, thrown a steak on the grill that has got too much chill in it from the refrigerator. But the whole point of bringing it up, of letting it kind of acclimate, is so when you are grilling it, you get a better consistency throughout. Are we going to argue this? Do you want to argue this, Fingers Malloy?
No, I don't want to argue it.
Do you want to argue?
I feel like I need to get the fine folks at thetakeout.com over here to argue with you, because I would agree with you. But I'm to the point where I would say 90 to 95% of the steaks that I cook at home now are reverse sear.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing it up slow to begin with, and then I'm hitting it with that sear at the end of the cooking process.
Don't flip the steak more than once while cooking. That's actually rather good advice. I don't mind turning a steak, like giving it a 90-degree turn to get the diamond grill marks.
Yes.
Depending on your grill. But if you have to flip it back, you didn't give it enough time the first time. You're right. Be patient. Be clear. Be thoughtful. Trust yourself. Trust your grill. And that involves having made a few steaks on it and screwing it up a little bit, but still eating it because it's a steak and it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I worry if you're flipping it too much, though, that you may scrape some of the seasoning off that you put on there. If you didn't get the sear on there properly, you may lose some of your seasoning if you're taking a spatula or whatever underneath a spatula.
I'm talking about a grill. You would use tongs. Spatula. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Why do I feel like I'm shrinking in my chair, Fingers? Why do I feel... You look so very tall, and I not so much.
Well, I did 6 pull-ups before I got into the studio.
That's nice.
Stretched out my spine.
Right.
That's what I do.
You've been taking your riboflavin?
Mm-hmm. All the anti-aging medication that I'm on.
And what about the Colloidal Silvers?
I saw them open. Forget it.
That's Fingers Malloy. I'm Tony Katz, and we are smoking the EP Carrillo Encore Black, the 5 3/8 by 52, with that Connecticut broadleaf Maduro wrapper, which I love, Mexican San Andreas in the binder, fillers from Esteli and Jalapa, growing regions of Nicaragua. Floral is right on, Fingers. That flavor is there. This is very interesting. It started off nuttier. It is that part of it has calmed down a little bit. I'm still going with walnut, which is a weird. I'm trying to name, call my shot there, Babe Ruth the thing. But you are right about the draw. That kitten is easy.
It is. It's almost too easy because it really is encouraging you to smoke it a lot faster than you should. I mean, you even said it, and you don't usually fall into that trap that I do. You're smoking yours a lot faster than you normally would.
A little faster. I did sit it down for a little bit. If I were to say to you, Fingers Malloy, that I think that there's a flavor in this cigar that is stout. I don't mean hefty. I'm talking about a stout. I am talking about almost that bitterness that you would get in the finish.
And a finish of a stout. I can see that.
Right? Which could have, you could engage in that floral kind of way, in that almost
malty.
Yes, but I almost was going to say herbal, but herbal is just not the right way to put it. It's not, the cigar is not earthy, right? This isn't so much for me dirt and things. What if I said molasses? Would I be close? I'm so desperate to find that word that will connect with what I'm experiencing from the cigar. I think I should be doing this with an espresso. Like there should be coffee poured all over me. Are you drinking coffee? You son of a gun. I have a Diet Coke. We'll get to our bourbons later. I like Diet Coke or water with a cigar just to keep the palate clean. It doesn't really affect flavor. I can't do like some people do a Coke Zero. To me, that still gets too sweet on there.
Well, my problem with when I'm pairing coffee with a cigar is I tend to put, as you like to say, a lot of schmutz in it.
You do the schmutz, do you?
Yeah, and a lot of times that creaminess from the coffee bleeds into my feelings on a cigar and the notes that I get from it. But it's interesting that you say molasses. You had me at stout. Like there's a bitter finish to this where I could say, okay, I could see where you're coming
but enjoyable,
from.
totally enjoyable.
Yeah, like a malty / bitterness at the,
but not as far as a molasses kind of syrupy
I'm not
thing.
Seeing that. And it's interesting you said walnut because I was getting more of a wood, but maybe, even though...
Oh, see, I'm not getting any wood at all. And
that was at the beginning, and that subsided. What I'm surprised with is I guess I expected this to be a little bit spicier, a little bit more pepper than what I'm getting.
A little bigger, a little puncher. That's the part that's fascinating. It is a little bit more muted than you would think. Really enjoyable. And by the way, I have not even discussed the fact that wrapper is gorgeous.
Yeah. That
wrapper is beautiful. There's nice oil on there. It is browns and blacks, and you could really see the leaf. It's a little dirty sexy right there in how that wrapper is. Like there's a little bit of devil may care in it. They didn't worry about so much finishing the edge too fine, and that's kind of the story they're trying to tell with it.
Yeah,
it's nice.
I dig the band too.
Beautiful in the blacks and the coppers.
Yeah.
And some of those beige tones. Beautiful stuff.
Tony, there's a lot to like about this cigar.
$17?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Ask me in a little bit. It is time, Fingers Malloy. Fingers Horatio Ignatius Malloy for News of the Week.
Tony, you use ride-sharing programs from time to time, do you not?
I'm using one right now.
Oh, there you go. And what a ride it has been so far. Lyft, Tony, will pilot a new feature called Price Lock that will let a rider purchase a monthly subscription that caps the price for a specific route at a specific time. So it's going to, if you subscribe to this service, get you away from some of that price surge that you will see different times of the day. And I'll be interested to see if people jump on this because some of these price surging on the apps can be absolutely insane.
Yeah, so my issue is I use it only in travel. I don't have to use it on a daily. So maybe if I was a daily person engaging some level of lock, engaging some level of price certainty would be interesting, but I have no issue with the surging whatsoever. It's a busier time. They can charge more. Let them. Why don't you go buy a car?
Let me. So
get yourself a bus pass.
I took my dad.
Maybe a horse and buggy.
Now, a horse and buggy rideshare service, that's something we should invest in. The future is now.
Right.
I took my dad to a Detroit Tigers game about 7 years ago now, I'm thinking. And we
take your dad to a baseball game once every 7 years?
It's very tough to get him out of the Gnaw, as we like to say, Saginaw, Michigan.
Okay.
And so I was able to talk him into going, and we stayed in Dearborn because you get a ridiculously cheap rate on a really nice hotel in Dearborn. And the ride into Comerica Park in downtown Detroit from my hotel was $15. And this was on a Friday night. When the game was over, walked over to the Greektown Casino downtown and played for a little bit. And it was around midnight. And I went to get a ride share service back. I can't remember if it was Lyft or Uber. And they quoted me $120. And I said, Dad, we're going to be staying here a little while. And we waited and another hour and a half until it got down to 50, and then we hopped on a rideshare service. So listen,
I don't understand. With all the winnings that you had at the casino,
yeah,
I am shocked.
Exactly. But going in that there could be a price surge. But when you're seeing a $17 ride turn into over $100 on the return, that's a tough pill to swallow.
What if it's $100 ride and you just happen to get it for $17? I think we're looking at it all wrong. Why is the $17 price the right price and the $100 price the wrong price?
Because I wasn't taking a prop plane from the hotel to the hotel. I wasn't in a helicopter. I was in a Ford Focus, Tony.
What happened to all the perks that you get? All the comps. They're always giving you comps. You're always getting comps.
The Tigers?
Comps.
The Detroit Tigers.
I was over the casino.
Well, I didn't let the casino know ahead of time that we would be visiting, and even if I did, they would say, "And you are."
You show up like it's what you call it, Coming to America, and they throw the flower leaves, the petals on the ground. There are two ladies there to wash you up.
Wash me up.
I don't know what they call it. But when you gamble like Fingers Malloy gambles,
listen, you're royalty at Harrah's now.
Is that right?
When you walk into a Harrah's and within a half hour of gambling, you get the old royal flush.
The old royal flush.
And you raise your arms in the air like you're Holyfield, running around the casino saying Yahtzee.
Damn it! I was just about to do that. I can't believe you stole that from me. My moment. My moment to shine.
I apologize.
Look, if it gets Lyft more customers, down for it. But I'm less bothered by the surge than other people, personally. Again, I tell you, Fingers Malloy, for what reason do I not have an OnlyFans page?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. And before, guys, you get yourselves too crazy. No. It's not going to be that kind of site. I don't mean to disappoint. Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. It very much seems the only way you're going to make money these days is an OnlyFans page. Because these ladies are
these ladies.
Somebody asked for that. Didn't we get an email where somebody was asking for you to do a Jerry Lewis impression?
The ladies with the OnlyFans and the wife and the Flavor way.
No, that's Simpsons. You went into Simpsons.
Nutty Professor.
Right.
Simpsons.
That's how it went.
Okay.
Point is, everyone needs a side hustle.
Yes.
They need a side gig. They need a little something to bring in a little extra cheddar, a little extra cheese, some extra quan, some extra cash, some extra dinero, some extra ducats, some extra coin, some extra scratch. I believe, Fingers Malloy, you once explained to me that the kids, they call it scratch.
Yes, and long green.
Ah, yes. My mistake. This woman makes $350 an hour as a baby name consultant. I don't even know what to say. That's better than OnlyFans, right?
No.
No, nothing's better because the subscription is monthly. The baby name is once.
Right. When you hear the insane amount of money some of these young ladies make on OnlyFans, $80,000, $100,000 a month.
Oh, those are the ones who are poor.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who are poor. Money is really being made. And yes, there are people making that much money. There are people making $20,000 a month. People making $3,000 a month. There are people who are also going to work 5 days a week, making $3,000 a month and have to commute, etc. I'm not joking about wanting to do something in that world, but I would never do it in I'm not talking about doing the sex world. Although, Fingers Malloy, now that you bring it up, there are people creating AI characters and caricatures and photos. They're not real. They are AI generated, and then they're creating channels saying, here you go, enjoy.
Yeah, and I got to say right now, stop using my image.
It's wrong, isn't it?
Yes. Especially since I'm not getting in the The scratch.
I believe you said the long green.
Long green.
And then you rub your thumb and your fingers together.
Yeah, that means long green right there.
It's radio. Scarlett Johansson wanted to sue because she thinks either ChatGPT or one of the other services are using her voice, and you can't. You can't sue for someone doing this. You don't own the sound of your voice.
Are they using the sound of her voice and then saying it's her?
Nah, that's different. If you're misrepresenting it as a Scarlett Johansson can sue you.
Yes.
But if you're just using some voice generation tool, well, then that's it. Can you sue Frank Caliendo for doing an impression, or Joey Molinaro, or anybody else?
I mean, we hear the impressions on commercials all the time of celebrities. How many commercials in the 90s did you hear of someone doing some sort of hackish Arnold Schwarzenegger impression?
Exactly the point. So you can't sue for these things. But they're utilizing AI to just create whole characters.
Because it's scary. And it's getting really, really good. I mean, you see, we're right in the middle of a presidential campaign season, and people putting together AI type videos where if you're watching it on your phone and if you don't have the best eyesight, you could be completely fooled into thinking it's actually Donald Trump or Kamala Harris speaking in the video. And this technology is only going to get better. So if I were a celebrity, I guess I would be upset.
Part of the whole SAG strike, the Screen Actors Guild strike, and the AFTRA strike is the recognition that AI is going to eat their lunch. For what reason do you need a scriptwriter? Plug some ideas into AI and a script will pop out. Plug in, hey, I want a recipe for chocolate chip cookies. Boom, there you go. You don't have to create anything.
I really worry for or concerned for, say, if you're in college right now and you're studying art, how much art can be created by a computer now just by someone speaking into a microphone saying, give me this, and have it pop up on a page in little to no time. Listen, this is all going to radically have an impact on our economy and the workforce.
So I brought up the scripts. The actors are soon going to be generated by AI. This is all coming. The art one is I think a giant one. And for people who don't know, I am a very large fan of art. I don't collect. I don't have that kind of money. I'm not Steve Martin. But I'm a fan, and I'm a big believer. And people who know me, from my political conversations, the radio they do, and it sometimes confuses them that I would be a fan of this thing. And like, no, I love anything. I love people who can create and have a vision. It's why I love cigars. It's why I love bourbon. It isn't, I love the art of the thing. When it comes to bourbon, I'm not a drinker. I'm a sipper. I love the ideas. What is it that they're trying to get across to us? How do you build out this expression? How do you find that? What is the vision and how do you implement it? I adore that. Cigars are a work of art on every level. So I adore this stuff. And you are absolutely right that art, when people decide to go to AI and say, create me this, create me the Mona Lisa, that is ruinous. And it's why I favor street art. There's been, over this week, a couple of Banksy sightings. Now, if you don't know Banksy out of the UK, a street artist, and his art goes for insane amounts of money. Nobody knows who he is, allegedly. Nobody knows who he is. And then every now and again, just some piece of art randomly shows up on the street. Just randomly. It'll be on a wall or whatever. The last one was a building that had these windows that were covered, right? Like plywood in the windows or whatever it is. So, and on two sides of two of them on the side of the building. So basically he drew in black, like it was outlines or shadows, two elephants that were kind of talking to each other. So you walk by and this huge building, and then all of a sudden in scale, like here are these two elephants. It's very cool. There is no capacity for AI to replicate anything like that. I am a giant believer in street art, in the idea of sculpture art. Someone, I forget their name, in the Indianapolis area had put forth an idea, a project to build out sculptures and create sculptures in areas of downtown so they can become tourist attractions and things that you are known for. Indianapolis would be known for these things. St. Louis is known for the arch, and in D.C. you have the monument. You cannot recreate that experience of walking into the Jefferson Memorial. It's an impossibility. And Indianapolis has a ton of monuments, second only to Washington, D.C. Indianapolis has a tremendous amount. The art thing matters, and what you're discussing is the frightening stuff, because art without intent is meaningless, in my view.
It's cold,
right?
Sterile. Yeah, it's going to be interesting too. For you mentioned writers. You know, how many books are we going to see on Amazon that are actually, 10 years from now written by actual people? Or are they just going to be AI creations?
I think we will soon get to the place of half, because you'll be able to create so many in such a short amount of time, you'll be able to flood the zone. And you're talking about Amazon, where you can do print on demand. I mean, our books are Amazon, right? Let's Go Bourbon, Let's Go Barbecue, both available at Amazon.com. We actually wrote those people. I think soon it'll be half. You can flood the zone. You can write a book a week. Boom, 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 boom. Take the AI talk, turn it into your talk, and away you go.
Or what if you're an editor? And you can see your work disappears. AI edits books as well.
There are opportunities and there are drawbacks. But the art conversation, you're right. That's just sad. Love finding something new. I love it when Fingers Malloy shows up and says, "Hey, Tony, I found this and it looks super neato."
Neato!
Tea, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. This from the people at Nulu Whiskey. Really interesting story and a very interesting single barrel program they do. This is the Nulu straight bourbon whiskey, the non-chill filtered right here. They've got a series of these. They've got a core series of bourbons, their Nulu Reserve, their toasted small batch, the Nulu French Oak, and then they've got some limited editions. What's interesting here is this looks like the Nulu Reserve, but it states right on it, toasted, but nothing shows the toasted alone. It only shows the toasted small batch. So I'm not quite sure where this fits, Fingers Malloy. The one thing I know is that this is 4.5 years aged and comes in at 57.5% alcohol by volume, or 115 proof. 115 proof, anything over 100 proof gets applause from Fingers Malloy. Got this in the rocks glass here, and admittedly, it's a pretty honey color right there, kind of color you would expect from a bourbon. Sticks to the side of the glass a little bit, Fingers Malloy, and that nose. All right, well, that does not play 115. It doesn't play 115, but it does play a little nice right there.
Wow, that is nice. So, I'll tell you what, though. You get your nose in there a little bit, and there is a little alcohol.
There is a little ethanol. Yeah. Oh, that is sweet and sugary.
Yeah, sweet and sugary. Maybe. See, I'm not getting any of the traditional things that you would get.
Right, not getting an oak or anything like that.
No vanilla, no real. I'm not getting any caramel.
Yeah, I think I'm more moved by sugar. There's the real punch of that. There's a little bit of a fruit. There's a little bit of a banana, but not in the Jack Daniels kind of way.
I was going to say it's not a Tennessee whiskey banana, but there's a hint of banana there. There's definitely a sweetness that I can't put my finger on it, but it's very sweet on the nose, but it's not like a traditional bourbon where you'd get some sort of caramel, vanilla, or oak.
The Nulu, N-U-L-U, Nulu Straight Bourbon Whiskey is what this is right here. And the question, Fingers Malloy, is Are you ready for this?
Tony, I've been ready for this all week.
Fingers Malloy taking a sip. He's doing what's known as the Kentucky Chew, moving it around the palate, getting a feel for it. You might want to take 2 sips. The first one to set the taste buds. The second sip to really get an idea of where those flavors are. Fingers Malloy, as I stare at the bottle here, the kind of squat bottle cylinder, then flat top. Nice look, a little bit of apothecary kind of feel to it. What do you think?
There's a fair amount of baking spice. There's also a hint of cinnamon and some oak. It's it does not play to me like it's 115 proof. Like there's no. What's odd is there is a gentle warmth in the throat, but it doesn't make it to the chest. There's a nice sting to the tongue. There's a nice coat on the tongue as well that stays there, and you may get a little bit of a leather on the finish. It's sweet. I don't know if a traditional bourbon drinker would say this is my jam.
I'm going in, Fingers Malloy, the Nulu, N-U-L-U, Nulu straight bourbon whiskey. We're going in, and to your health. And to your health.
To my health. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony is going in, and he is doing what we like to call the Saginaw swish. And he's swishing, and he's Saginawing, and he's swishing. What do you think? That sting, right?
Oh, all over the tongue. Whew. Wow.
It's different.
Which is stupid that you feel all that on the tongue and nothing going down, barely some heat, center chest, barely.
It feels it more in the throat for me, which I don't usually experience.
I have to do a second sip.
Okay, you know what? He's doing this for Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation, ladies and gentlemen, and we should all applaud him for that. He's the only one that applauded. But still, we should all applaud him for that.
The second sip helps. The second sip, yeah, there's real intensity going on.
Great country song.
Does that second sip helps?
Yes.
Honestly, we'll get the AI and we'll write some country songs. We'll just throw in a couple of key lines and let it do the rest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're going on tour. Fingers and Cats. Together again like they never were. All right, I am not playing the cinnamon the way you were. I do actually get some oak out of this in the finish. There's a little bit of dark fruit going on in the finish. That is a thick caramel. That's what I get. But it took a little while to come because it's so dancing on the tongue with such aggressiveness, mind you, that it took a while. That might be too powerful of a punch for me to enjoy what's happening on the other side. For me, it might be too powerful of a hit. The question, Fingers Malloy, is this in your liquor cabinet? I've seen this priced a couple different ways, but I'm going to go with the higher range. Is this in your liquor cabinet at $90 a bottle?
No.
No?
Not at 90.
No?
No.
Yeah, 90 is a stretch here. 90 is
Can I tell you what I paid for it?
What did you pay for it?
I paid $62 for it.
Well, that's way different than 90.
Yes.
Fingers Malloy, is this in your liquor cabinet at $62 a bottle?
Maybe. If I want something different, yeah, but here's the thing about this. If you were going to not drink this straight, what would you use this for if you were going to use it in a cocktail?
I wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it doesn't fit a profile that I wouldn't
want that in an old fashioned. You wouldn't want that in a Manhattan,
right? We're talking about like the basic cocktails.
Yeah,
I'd have to really think about it and look into that. And To each their own, and I'm not knocking the people at Nulu. It's just that first hit is so penetrating, so to an extent violent that I don't know what to do with the rest of it. Like I have to try this on a cube now to see what happens next, to see if it comes in a way that gives me that initial. It can give me something on the palate that I can work with. Fingers. That's just me. I didn't know that at Eat, Drink, Smoke we weren't doing our job properly. I didn't know that we weren't committed enough. Right? Our biggest issue has always been because of where we used to do the show. Great people over there at Blend Bar Cigar in Indianapolis, Indiana. We couldn't really do the eat part the way we wanted to. But now that we're here in the studio and we've got the grill set up and the smoker set up, getting the griddle, have the kitchen available to us, we're going to start getting more and more food, more and more videos of food getting out there. I cannot wait to see all this explode. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. But I was talking about recipes, and we were going to be grilling and techniques. No. We're doing it all wrong. We clearly are not getting deep enough to where the American psyche is, Fingers Malloy.
I always felt like we tapped into the American psyche.
Food and wine, and here's the headline. We tried more than 30 mayos. This is best by far. They tried 30 mayonnaises. Mayonnaise-ote? I don't know what the plural is. They tried 30 different kinds of mayonnaise. 30 different kinds of mayonnaise. Somebody sat there with 30 spoons and said, all right, let's do this.
You've never done that before?
No.
Well, it's a typical Friday night at my house.
Because growing up, the only mayonnaise that existed or mattered was Hellmann's. And everything else is absolute crap.
Not according to foodandwine.com.
Everyone at Food and Wine can go to hell.
Oh, wow. And where can everyone at foodandwine.com get a hold of you, Tony?
Where can they email me? They can email me at taylorswift@gmail.com. By the way, did you hear that Taylor Swift had a series of concerts? Were they in Vienna? Scheduled in Vienna, they had to be canceled because there was a terrorist threat?
No.
That's a true. This is nutty. Came out this week, or I mean, sometimes like the full story doesn't come out. It takes a while. Some terrorist group thinking that, oh, this is a good opportunity.
Oh,
ugly world sometimes.
It is, and it's a different turn than I thought you were going to go to with Taylor Swift and mayonnaise.
No, I wasn't gonna. Okay. That would have been appropriate right there. So they've got this list here at Food and Wine, and they say the best for sandwiches is Hellmann's, also known as Best Foods, depending on where you are in the country.
Best Foods?
Yeah, I think if you're west of the Mississippi, it's
a whole Hardee's Carl's Jr. thing with mayonnaise?
Right. Like, do you know the theme song for Hellmann's? Bring out the Hellmann's and bring out the best. Like, that's it. On the other coast, bring out the best foods and bring out the best.
You're making this up.
Like, how could I make up that song? Which I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have turned into a video. There's a Instagram reel coming of me singing.
How could I make up that song? You act like you just pulled Bohemian Rhapsody out of your butt with that tune.
I'm a marketing genius. Best for salads. Kewpie mayo. Have you ever had Kewpie? I have it. I have it right here. If you want to try it.
I've never heard of Kewpie.
Japanese mayonnaise.
No, and I didn't know putting mayonnaise on salad is a thing.
Well, chicken salad,
egg
salad, potato
I thought
salad,
you were talking a garden
salad
with a ladle of mayonnaise on top of it.
Oh, well, you can use the mayonnaise as a base for making some kind of dressing. Kewpie actually has a distinct flavor and is wonderful. Best for dipping, Stonewall Kitchen Farmhouse Mayo. What are you dipping in? Yeah, look at that face. Fingers Malloy made a face at me that questioned the existence of mankind and also that he might need to use a bathroom. He had both looks in his eyes.
Well, I think if you're dipping stuff in mayonnaise, you're going to have to use the bathroom. But what baby carrots? Are you doing some sort of veggie tray? And Oh, we don't have any ranch dressing. Pull out the mayonnaise. Pull out the best food mayonnaise. What was that called again?
Bring out the best foods and bring out the best.
It's all new to me. I didn't know that we had different names for mayonnaise depending on what part of the Mississippi you're on.
And then they claim the best overall mayonnaise is, do you know what it is, Fingers Malloy?
I'm looking at the story, Tony.
Oh, then you do know what it
it's
is.
Duke's.
It's Duke's.
And is that a Southern thing?
I believe it is from the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Is where it is. Duke's uses egg yolks only, making it creamy, but not so viscous that it sticks to the roof of your mouth. Where it really shines is its generous use of vinegar. The combination of distilled and cider vinegars adds a balancing zing that cuts through the richness. Oddly enough, exactly the terminology Fingers used to use on his Tinder account.
Zing!
Duke's can be the supporting character or the star of the show in just about any dish, thanks to that reliable twang.
Wait a minute. It's got zing and twang?
Zing and twang.
Sign me up. Let's start dipping.
Bring out the Dukes and bring out the best. Well, that's trademarking for him.
Okay, what I can't figure out, Tony, I'm looking at this list. Where's the Miracle Whip?
Did you grow up with Miracle Whip?
Yeah, I did actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So you like that stuff?
It's one of those things. So my grandmother,
Rest her soul.
yes, used to make peanut butter.
Grandma Malloy.
Yeah, yes, used to make peanut butter and Miracle Whip sandwiches.
We're going to stop right now. We're just going to take a moment. Honestly, that story should come with a warning. Your grandmother grew up in the Depression?
Yes.
All is forgiven. When you grew up in the Depression, all is forgiven. My wife's grandmother has since passed, talked about the fact that when she grew up during the Depression, watermelon sandwiches. Like if they could find a watermelon, that's what they would eat. Watermelon sandwiches. You guys, we have no idea how good we have it. We have no idea how rough it was or how rough it is in other parts of the world.
Yeah. Have you had a peanut butter and okay, forget the Miracle Whip because I can clearly see that you are anti Miracle Whip.
I've had it once. I've had Miracle Whip once just to try it.
And if you look, if you get on Ask Jeeves, you could see at one point where Miracle Whip was trying to market the peanut butter and Miracle Whip sandwiches and ads, leaflets, flyers. It was all the
Leaflets?
rage. Yes, leaflets. They would drop
Was there
them.
a drop? Yeah, well, that was it.
That's exactly what they did. But have you ever had at least a peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich?
No.
Oh, I think we got to try this. But you can't eat bread though.
I'll do it for Eat Drink Smoke Nation. No, the most disgusting thing that happened to me growing up was my mother was at a conference and my father, rest his soul, decided to make us American cheese and jelly sandwiches. That happened.
Oh boy.
In my life. The guy knew how to order a pizza. I don't know what he was thinking.
And-
cheese and jelly.
So how were both of the sandwiches that you had?
All five of them?
Kraft singles?
Oh, was there anything else?
What do they call Kraft singles the west side of the Mississippi?
Bring out the Kraft singles and bring out the best.
You have no idea how this completely changed my whole worldview knowing this now. I had no idea. I still have a hard time with the notion that a burger from Hardee's on the West Coast is a Carl's Jr. burger. But it looks exactly the same. Why?
And it tastes exactly the same. It does.
I don't know what to believe in anymore.
It's all right. You're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Hellman's is better. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. He is the America's drinking man. What are you? America's favorite amateur drinker?
Yes.
That's what he is. But I like America's drinking man.
You know, we are in the middle of episode 302 of
Right.
Eat, Drink, Smoke.
And?
You're struggling with America's favorite amateur drinker. You've been calling me this for 302 episodes.
Yeah, I'm thinking of changing it up.
Oh, okay.
Right? Here's another one I'm going with. Fingers Malloy. I'm a nice guy.
You sing it?
Yeah, Don Rickles style.
Oh, okay.
That's what I do. We are smoking from EP Carrillo, the Encore Black, this 5 3/8 by 52 box press with the Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. I messed it up. What are you giving me crap for?
No, I was trying to think of the Rickles line. He used to always say, "What do you want me to do? Drop my pants and fire a rocket out of my butt?" Is that what he used to say? I think it was something like that.
Well, if that's the way you remember it. I don't.
How's he doing?
Don, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. He'd laugh at that, please. The EP Carrillo, the Encore Black, 5 3/8 by 52, Connecticut broadleaf with the Mexican San Andreas binder and those fillers from the regions of Nicaragua, including Jalapa and Esteli. It's a beautiful smoke. It has smoked exquisitely throughout. It has now, in this, as I start the final third, moved into a little more of a tobacco rich, but that flavoring, you called it floral. I discussed walnuts. Was it molasses? And you said no to that. Very enjoyable. But at 5 3/8 by 52, $17. The question is it in the humidor? Fingers Malloy.
1, maybe 2. I'll tell you, it's been an enjoyable smoking experience. It's been a low maintenance stick, lots of pleasant smoke. For me, as I'm getting into the final third, all of those notes that we described at the beginning have pretty much disappeared for me. Other than, like you said, it's tobacco forward now. I can say that, but that spice that was there, and I thought it would be spice. And this isn't a complaint.
Right.
I thought there would be more spice to it than there is. That sweetness that was there before. That's really faded too, and now it has changed. I'll tell you, in this world we live in now, you have to re-examine what you are willing to spend on a quality cigar. You and I have both enjoyed smoking this. Neither one of us had any issues whatsoever with it.
Nope. I just did a touch-up right there for my own OCD reasons.
Yeah. I could probably see having 1 or 2 of these in my humidor.
It's a lovely cigar. I think the price point is high. Now, this is aged 3+ years. This is fermented for 18 months. A Maduro wrapper. It's beautiful. The construction has been exquisite. I wish it was a touch heavier on a personal level, but that's about it. That flavor for the first half, really 2/3 of the cigar, was so fascinating. And I'm going to have another one to be able to better kind of put my finger down on where it is. Right now, it's tobacco forward. There's a little bit of coffee going on for me. But I just don't know about 17.
I feel like whatever you're pairing this with will really heavily influence your feeling on the stick in the final third.
We're about to find out because we are having the Nulu, N-U-L-U, the Nulu Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 115 proof right here is the Nulu Bourbon Whiskey. This comes out of MGP. They refer to this as a toasted Nulu because it's in a single barrel and then they put it in the toasted. This was 4.5 years. These come in the 4 to 6 year range. I don't have the mash bill on this, which is something I would love to have. What is the ratio of bourbon? Of corn to other things. By law, 51% corn, but I don't know about a barley or rye or other things that are in here. You've added a little bit of water to yours. I added. I've got the sphere in here. It so danced on the tongue. The finish was kind of nice, and I did get some good caramel out of that finish, but it was so intense on the tongue, it took a while for these things to kind of calm down. So we add a little bit of water to it. Water will bring down proof, and water can also open it up, right? Add enhance flavors and also subdue some of the flavors. So I'm going in, fingers.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen, with the sphere, which is very exciting.
Oh, okay. I caught the nose before I took the sip. And the nose was creamy, which it wasn't before. The power on the tongue has dissipated. There's still some oak there. There's a little bit of a caramel nicely going on. It's better.
So it's more
better.
It's more of a traditional bourbon feel to you on the rock
Now it is. Absolutely. There's a great example of what water can do right there. Now, Fingers just added a couple drops of water, bottled water in this case, right here, and he's taking the sip. He's going in.
Okay, on the nose, I got more caramel this time around.
All right, and I got creamy, on the nose, and it was palpable. Like, you immediately got it. He's taking his sip, doing a little bit of the Memphis munch, as he likes to call it. You call it actually the Kentucky Chew when you move around the palate. And
for me, first of all, that spice and that sting is still there for me. In not as big a way as it was neat, but it's still there. There's a hint of that cinnamon on the finish, a little bit more caramel and a little bit more oak. Yeah, this is in my liquor cabinet.
Really?
I think so. And at the very least, and this is not the easiest juice in the world to get your hands on. If you see it at your local lounge, definitely give it a try and let us know what you think.
I've never actually seen it at a lounge.
Yeah.
I cannot recall ever seeing Nulu at a lounge. I didn't know about it until you brought the bottle in. I'm not negative on it, but at $62 a bottle, which is what you bought it for, it is not. It is not in my liquor cabinet at 62.
It's definitely a bourbon that you are just drinking it by itself. I just don't see it as something that would be good in a cocktail of any kind. But it does give you a couple of different experiences, whether it's on a cube or
right? There's a big value in that.
Yeah, and the fact that, there's something to bringing a bottle of something that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of to an event. Hey, you should try this. I don't know if I would buy this and then rush to the liquor store and say, man, I need another bottle of it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where if I happen to see it and the price is right, I would definitely grab it and have it in my liquor cabinet.
I'm going to tell you to do exactly that. And it's always amazing. And it's worth the reminder that if you aren't trying your bourbon in these ways with a little bit of water on the rock, neat, maybe ice chips, you're missing out on whether or not you actually like it. You don't know. You don't know what the bourbon has to offer you, what that presentation can be, until you take a chance on it and try it in all the ways. You need to do that. You owe it to yourself. You spent the money. Shouldn't you find the best way to enjoy what it is you purchased?
Absolutely. And I also think that you need to, if you try it neat first and you don't like it, you really do need to monkey with it a little bit to see if there's another way that you could enjoy it. Put the cube in it, put the water in. I totally agree with you.
It's people are so into this idea that there's only one way to do it. They're into this idea that, this is the way you have to do it. It's weak, or it's unacceptable to add the cube, or none of that's all just silliness. You spent your money. My God, check it to see if it's really, really worthwhile.
Like ketchup on a hot dog.
Oh, you should totally put ketchup on it. I would eat ketchup on a hot dog right now.
Good Lord.
So wrapped up in the bourbon and the cigar, man, we're all out of sorts. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is Fingers Malloy. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that with all of the economic upheaval that took place this week, with the Nikkei falling 12% and then bouncing back, and the issues in the U.S. stock market and the NASDAQ, Dell laid off 12,500 people. It might be more. Intel laying off 15,000 people. Don't look at your 401k and freak out, would you please? Would you please? The market builds over time. I don't think the market is the indicator of health of the economy. I think that's a really bad way to look at it. But I do think that you got to take a look at history, and that the market does find its way back over time. Right now, if you look, I looked, Fingers Malloy, not pretty. it's a fair loss. It's a fair loss that I took, and it's going to take a while for it to come back. But right now, I'm going to stick with that, and I just don't think there is no sense in panic. I mean, don't trust me with your financial advice. Talk to somebody who knows more than me. Just to not recognize that people got really impacted, and it's going to take a while for them to build back. I think that's kind of ugly, and I think to panic is not helpful.
I panicked. Can I tell you what I did?
Did you convert everything to sorghum?
Close. I dug up my Maxwell House can.
Oh.
And I switched it to a Folgers can, and then I buried it 2 feet deeper. So
smart.
Hey.
Smart. Because your money is always safer with flavor crystals.
Thank you.
Right? I don't think that's strange at all. I think that's solid economic advice. So wrapped up in the bourbon and the cigar, we forgot to do, Fingers Malloy, news of the week.
This is an interesting story, Tony, from Yahoo Finance. Almost 1 in 5 house hunters are willing to put their physical safety at risk in order to afford a home.
I don't know what that means.
In addition to other sacrifices such as quality schools, according to data from Redfin. I think people are saying that they are so desperate to get a home that they are willing to maybe move into an area that maybe has higher crime and schools that aren't as good because they have been house hunting for a long time and they cannot find affordable housing, and people are itching to make a move.
When you know what hit the fan earlier this week with the Dow and the NASDAQ, you had the 10-year Treasury dropped under 4 and got to like 3.7. And so that made the 30-year fixed mortgage rate 6.36 for a while. And refinance applications went through the roof because people who got that mortgage at 7.5 were like, this is the moment. Let's drop a full percent and we'll wait for it to happen again. And people are desperate for the Fed to do this, to drop rates. The market's begging for 0.5 point.
Yeah. Actually,
the market has been begging for an emergency drop of 0.75 point, and that'll fix everything. I don't believe that fixes really anything, but the economists can have a fight about it. But 16% is what the refinance demand is over last year.
So here's what's interesting, and this is only, of course, anecdotal. I have started to look. I possibly may be in the market soon for another house.
You be my neighbor? There's a house right down the street. Right down the street. You could be my neighbor.
Oh, I love that.
I borrow a cup of sugar. We'll share a lawnmower.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. You would love seeing me 2 houses down in the backyard.
Just sunning yourself?
You don't get skin like this from avoiding the sun, Tony.
No, you don't.
Actually, yes, you do. But here's something that I've noticed, because from time to time in the last 5 years, I've kind of poked around, look to see what the value of my home is on Zillow, and then look at the market. And one thing I've noticed, this is just in central Indiana where I'm looking, and I know real estate agents could probably be emailing me as soon as I'm done with this sentence saying, you're totally wrong. I've noticed that there are a lot more homes available, and homes that normally you would see them hit on Realtor.com or Zillow.com, and immediately it would say pending, and you'd look at it. It's been on the website for 2 days.
Yeah,
you're seeing homes that are on there for 120 days, 130 days. And while I'm not saying that there's enough inventory for everyone who's looking, clearly there isn't. If you're seeing people talk about the market, I do find it interesting that it does seem that at least now there are a few more homes available than maybe there would have been this time 2 years ago.
I will tell you that the house down the road, it has been on the market for 7 days, pending.
Oh.
Right? So it certainly depends on area. But I agree with you in the main. Houses have had a little more time on the market. There's been a little more opportunity to find something because of these interest rates. For sure, that has been the case.
And I wonder, too, if people, there has been a little bit of I don't know if you follow what's going on with your home, Tony, on Zillow. And not that Zillow is the be-all, end-all, but values for homes in my neighborhood have actually dropped, 2 to 4% in the last 60 days. That may change, obviously, as interest rates, if they continue to creep down. But what I'm curious about is if some people think that their home is worth a lot more than what's being offered to them, and they're hanging on, hoping to get more because maybe their home, according to these sites, was worth 15% more than it is now. I actually saw that on a couple of homes where it's like if you track what the Zillow market analysis is, maybe 2 years ago was worth $100,000 more than it is now, and I'm sure people are, well, what's going on with this particular home? Why did my home value go down? I want that money. Why, so
if they curious. Are, I mean, as much as it's caveat emptor, buyer beware. What is the Latin for seller beware? You're putting yourself in this place. This is real gambling. And it really depends on how quickly you need to get out. Or do you have to leave? And if you feel like, we could stick around another 6 months or stick around another year, one more year in the school system, you do it. If you're somebody who's transferred, you're going to do anything at all to get out. So I think there's never knowing what resides in people that is really their impetus, right? What is motivating them?
Yeah. I have to believe that with this interest rate cut, if that's going to happen, that you're going to see more people, jumping in, and like you said, at least for refinancing, it's going to happen. But I wonder how many people are also going to take into account that what the state of the economy is, and if they're feeling confident that they can go and buy a new home when they're maybe not sure that they're going to have a job in 6 months.
Well, that's a whole different conversation. The jobs market conversation I brought up earlier, the layoffs from Dell and the layoffs from Intel, not the sign of healthy economy, not the sign of good growth. And behind that is a story about manufacturing, that when you take a look at the manufacturing reports, 4 months in a row of contraction. So we're not building things. We're not building things, making things. People are not buying things. And therefore, nobody's hiring because nobody's building because nobody's buying. People who think that this economy is solid, I think are kidding themselves. Still is where we're at. The Nulu straight bourbon whiskey. This is the toasted right here at 115 proof. Fingers Malloy is a buyer at $62 a bottle. At that price, not me. But the Encore Black from EP Carrillo, $17 a stick. Maybe. I'll have to discuss it more. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Follow Eat, Drink, Smoke on social media, on Twitter at Go Eat, Drink, Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/Eat, Drink, Smoke, and Instagram at Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast.